'cause it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Hello. Budget live, not so live, coming in right after the hook. I never could make it last. A little song I wrote right there called Biloxi Blues, recorded by me, sang by me, written by me. Man, that is the most narcissistic intro I think I've ever given myself there. But you know what? When you got your own microphone and you got 3 good tires and a spare, it's what you do. So that was my song, Biloxi Blues. If you are new to the Low Budget Live Life, welcome. And to all you returning low-lifers, it's good to see y'all, virtually. I'll see you in the comments. I'll see the views. But it's good to have y'all. If you're listening out there on iTunes and Spotify, thank you. Thank you. Y'all are killing it over there. I can't interact with you guys as much, but I get a lot of Instagram and mainly Instagram messages. I'm terrible about checking Facebook messages. If you send me Facebook messages, I apologize. I don't like Facebook that much. And I know they own Instagram, but for me, I don't have like a personal Facebook page. I just got like the fan page, which also makes me feel like a goober saying that. But that's all I've got. So I don't interact a ton on Facebook. I'm a lot more active on Instagram and YouTube. But so I apologize if you've ever sent me anything on Facebook. It's probably buried amongst the rubble of a lot of other messages. I try to go through it. But I'm terrible. So I apologize. But just Facebook's clunky. It's clunky for me, the way the pages work. But anyways, thank y'all. Thank y'all for interacting in the comments on the YouTube. It's always fun. Even if you don't like what I got to say, if you disagree, I'm all about that life too. We can have a good debate. I enjoy that. So thank y'all. Got to get me a drink. This is the podcast for Monday, August the 10th. 2 days to be exact removed from August the 8th, which is mine and the Triple Threats anniversary. And I would like to give her a round of applause because for some strange reason, she has been married to me for several years now. And hey, I don't know. I can't explain it, right? I can't explain why she would want to put up with most of this insanity, but she does. And she does it very well. So happy anniversary officially on LBL to the Triple Threat, my wife, Marissa. We had a busy weekend, lots going on that I'm going to talk about down the road. Some interesting things going on in the Luke Duncan travel and circus world, but I had meetings this weekend. Yes, meetings. And didn't get to celebrate the anniversary this weekend, but later this week we are rolling south. We are going to fill up the tank with a little gas and a little StarTron. StarTron bringing you LBL, Low Budget Live and Low Budget Not So Live for several years now, and it's going to kick ethanol in the teeth. It's going to get it out of your weed eater. It's going to get it out of your chainsaw, your outboard motor. And unlike last week, when I said that it would ruin a good fishing trip, it's actually the opposite, because nothing ruins a good day on the water like an engine that won't run. So get you some StarTron in that tank. thank you to the fine folks at Star Trek. See, I feel like I recovered from last week with that. But we're going to load down the truck and we are headed south to St. George Island. It's me and her for a couple days at the end of this week. Cannot wait to get down there and do some celebrating. It's a peaceful little place. We're going to just keep to ourselves down there and hopefully not catch the Rona. That's the goal. That's the goal. Not catching the Rona. Not catching it. Oh, me. Oh, my, oh. Thank y'all so much for the love on Shut Up. How are we saying it? Show Up and Shut Up. Me and Darren, neither one know the name. Game 5 dropped this past Thursday, and you guys and gals killed it on the views. It's still growing, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but I dropped Game 5. I dropped Game 5. And I'm enjoying this series, so part of me, like I'm super, super, super competitive. Part of me wanted it to be over with because I want to beat the brakes off of Darian all the time. But I'm also glad we get to do it again because we're having so much fun doing it, and it's been a great break from the insanity in the world right now, being able to do this. And people seem to be enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. But this one was very frustrating for me. The one he beat me on a few tournaments ago was a very frustrating day. I had a crazy day. It was just a weird day. A lot of things going on in life. And it was just kind of like I never got in a groove fishing. This one, I was in a groove, like caught some early, but only caught one keeper that had to be 15 inches and threw back 4 or 5, whatever it was. But I caught a nice one right out of the giddy on a place that I found on Google Earth the night before. And man, I really felt like I was on a deal that I could keep running, and it kind of ran out. I quit getting bites, and then at like 11, we quit at 1:30. I have been having these gremlins, electrical gremlins to say the least, in my boat for the past few weeks, and I thought it was a bad battery, kicked the bad battery, got another battery, expensive battery, really good battery, and thanks to the folks at Lawrenceburg Marine, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. But got a new battery, and man, I was dead on the water by 11 o'clock. Running the trolling motor, anyways, just fishing on the trolling motor, never got any more bites. Darian weighs 3, beats me. And I'd driven 2.5 hours to this lake that we met up on to compete, and left the house like 4 in the morning, get up at 3:30. So it's just like you're just pissed off. It's just like, whoa. I laugh, I have a good time, but it just pisses me off to not be able to run around like I want to run around. You can't use your electronics because I got low voltage for several hours, so I can't really do what I want to do. It was just frustrating. Not an excuse. I did not catch them early like I should have, and I got to run around early when the morning bite should have been good. So, I mean, it's on me, but it's just frustrating to have that asterisk beside it for me that I couldn't make a run that I wanted to run. But anyways, came back, Lawrenceburg Marine, checked the boat out. It turns out it was something in the mercury. I think it's called a fuse line. Comment below if I'm an idiot and I'm wrong. But basically, this thing protects your alternator, and it's something on the new 4-strokes that it hasn't been on the other motors. And if you arc a battery, which apparently this was done maybe when I was putting it in my electronics, I'm not sure, but if you arc a battery, because I've had issues all year, but when you arc a battery, even if you just bump, a positive to a negative, vice versa, this thing will blow to protect the alternator. I'm not a gearhead. I don't know any of that. But then it will actually drain your battery when you're running. And that's what I would notice. I could leave the motor on, and it would still drain the battery. Very frustrating day. And finally, the motor just killed itself. While I was just fishing, letting it idle because I wanted to run my live wells because I had a fish. And anyways, they got me back going. I picked it up Friday. Hopefully, we're going to get Game 6 and get it over with this week. So I hope next Thursday you guys get to see me hoisting the invisible, imaginary Susu trophy. But thank y'all for watching that so much. It's been so much fun, man. And he and I, if you didn't watch Darian's video, because he caught two good fish flipping, and dude, his raw emotion over thinking he beat me at that time, like knowing that helped, it shows you just how invested in this we are and how much we want to beat each other. And that's any friends out there. You want to beat each other, but we're having. I mean, it's the real deal. We are out there slinging at them. I promise you. I treat it as I treat every tournament I ever fished. And I prepare and I'm rigging tackle. It's fun. It's really been fun to do. So we're gonna keep this going. Once this little series is over, we'll come up with the next thing. Darian has sold his boat, so he's fishing out of Paw Paw's boat right now, the red Triton with red carpet, and we will see what the fall is going to bring. We've got some really cool ideas for this series, so thank y'all for watching that. Thank you. Some questions I got on Instagram that I want to answer. I even got a phone call about this yesterday from my bro, Carter Andrews. So if you've seen it all, and I'm going to film a video on this, but if you've seen it all, my dad and I, my little bro, Blake, we've bought a farm, a 100-acre of the ugliest land you've ever seen. Old rough patch of dirt. And I'll tell the quick story. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version because I'm going to make a video. We bought this farm basically on the same road my mother grew up on, okay? We've talked about this over and over, but lost my mother last October 20th. And we wanted to do something. We wanted to do something to try, for the family, and we wanted to do something that we would always have together, and we wanted to do something that we would always remember her by, and it would kind of be us. And so we got this land, and we decided to build a pond, build a lake. It's going to be about 3-4 acres. Not a lake, but bigger than a pond. And we're in the middle of that construction process right now, and we are trying to build a trophy bass haven. And it is in the middle of nowhere. But I posted some stuff on Instagram about that. Man, you guys, I got a ton of questions about this lake. A ton of questions. So I was gonna talk about that. But we're calling it Lake Teresa in honor of my mom. And like I said, this is where she grew up. It's a really cool area for me personally and family. And the coolest thing that happened is, y'all know I've talked about her love for butterflies. We were out there this week, and there are thousands of butterflies out there right now. Thousands. We went out there to see what was going on with the lake construction this week. And my dad's like, I got to show you something. And we roll around the corner in this big field that we have there, and there are thousands of butterflies, man. It was really, it was so crazy. And it was just like mom was there. And it just kind of tied everything together. So we are doing that. I'm going to start doing a vlog series on that lake construction. The dam really, as of yesterday, was almost completed, but going to go out there and shoot some video. Should have started this earlier, but I want to take everybody through the step-by-step and where it's at and kind of the story. But so be looking for that video. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I got a lot of questions. And people were like, you should talk about this on the podcast. But that's kind of the long and short of it. That's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. And pretty dang awesome. I have to say, I am beyond excited to see this thing hopefully fill up with water. It's going to be about 18 feet deep at the deepest point. It's in a holler. And it's a lot deeper than we thought it was going to be. Really, really, really special deal for us. And something that you guys will get to see for years to come, hopefully, once we get it going. And pretty excited about that. So that's that. That's that. I know that I had some requests to talk about that. So that's what's going on with Lake Teresa. Moving on to pro fishing news. Gonna text our guest. Right. Yeah, we got a good one today, by the way. Here we go. So FLW, and this is ridiculous to me, but FLW had to release a statement on the Keith Poche thing. I don't understand that. They don't ever release statements on any other DQ that they've had. They've had some crazy stuff go down over the years they didn't release statements on. But in this day and time, because Keith made a video and he's, I feel like, one of MLF's dudes, they released a statement like, this is why. Should have never had to do that. It's in the freaking rules. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving. Keith retracted his first video and came out with another one trying to clarify, because I'm sure somebody at MLF was like, hey, shut up, okay? You said you weren't fishing FLW anymore. Well, hey, Keith, we own FLW. That's actually us now. That's us now. So anyways, he released another video, but the comments on FLW's post about this, I got a lot of them sent to me. Man, people are big mad. This is why I don't watch FLW. It's the stupidest rules. You don't want the little guy. People are so confused about what this situation actually was that it's just ridiculous. And then they just shoot from the hip. You know, it's almost like people feel like there was some little guy that saved up his money for his entire life to drag his little aluminum boat to fish a professional bass tournament against all the big, bad professional bass fishermen in their $100,000 rigs, and then he got sent home. And that's not what it was. It's not what it was. It's a dude that's fished for a while now professionally and should have known the rules. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I'm not going to spend any more time on it than that. It's ridiculous. But I saw all these comments and I was just like, seriously? And the comments were so bad, I was like, why did FLW make the post? Like, just leave it alone. He didn't read the rules. You DQ'd him. The only thing that FLW has a fault in this, in my opinion, is on day one letting him fish. Period. That's the thing. But I have also been told that he has been protested in this boat before at Bassmaster Opens and some different things. So using this boat for an advantage, for sure, in low water, and that's that. And you got, it didn't fit the criteria, and now you got disqualified. That's it. No, nothing more should be done with this situation. Hopefully that's it. So silly, but that popped back up this week. I was like, seriously? But read the rules, folks. Read the rules in everything in life. It'll make life so much easier if you just know what you're getting into. So silly. This week, MLFLW Super Tournament. That was good. Super Tournament number 3. Pew, 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 pew. Super Tournament at the Sandusky Bay. Smallmouth or largemouth event, could be, depending on the weather. It's going to be interesting to see how many boats show up at this one. It's the last tournament of the year. If you're not having a good year, if you don't want to fish against 200 boats, there'll be some guys dropped. There were a few dropped at La Crosse. It's going to be interesting to see. This one is going to be, there's no other tournaments going on this week, so I hope to get to watch some of this, because I think this one is going to be buck wild. And here's why I say that, and I'm rushing because I'm trying to get to our guest. And he's going to tell us about this event. But originally this event was scheduled for Lake St. Clair. It was moved to Sandusky. There was a Toyota series at Sandusky Bay a few weeks ago, tougher than nails by smallmouth lake standards. Guys were running to freaking St. Clair, Lake St. Clair. It's about 90 miles over there. 90 miles in a bass boat across basically the ocean. I think 50 miles of it are basically across open water. Then you get in the Detroit River. But anyways, I think that is going to play this week at this event if they can go weather-wise. And cue the Alanis Morissette, but isn't it ironic? But this tournament could be won on Lake St. Clair where it was going to be anyways. You can only fish the American side, and for those of you that know how Lake St. Clair lays, when you come out of the Detroit River, which is where they'll be coming out of, the entire basically right-hand side of that lake is Canada. So you're going to have to keep running like another 20 miles to get to the goods. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be freaking cool. Just because I like that drama. I think that's going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. And crazy that it was going to be on St. Clair and it got canceled. But they are drilling them at Lake St. Clair right now. So It could be worth the run. I just don't see in 4 days of competition on that body of water, because Sandusky is notorious for being brutal as far as weather goes. I don't see them getting 4 days that they could possibly go over there. We will see. I cannot wait, honestly, to see how this one plays out, because I think it's going to be a trip. And what else do you want? But it's the last one of the year, and then they go to Sturgeon Bay for the title event, Tackle Warehouse title event. But this will wrap up this whole crazy FLWML, FLW Super Tournament congregation tournaments for the year. And then we got several more Bassmasters. But going to be interesting. Our guest today is a perfect guy to talk to about this event, because he's in it. He is in this event. He was the 2018 Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year. Not champion, but Angler of the Year. He has a couple Elite Series wins. They've been dramatic every single time. Always got a really cool story, I feel like, when he does something. He has 7 wins in his young career, and he has amassed over $1.5 million in earnings, with his most recent win being one of the most epic, crazy smallmouth beatdowns of all time in the Bass Pro Tour event at Sturgeon Bay. He caught about 1 million pounds of smallmouth. He is at Lake Erie now. He is practicing, and we are going to talk to him on the water right now and see what's going on with Justin Lucas.
Luke Duncan.
What's up, buddy?
You want to know what's crazy? Can you hear me all right?
I got you great, actually. I got you good. I'm trying to adjust your audio. You must have AirPods in, because your stuff is spot on right now.
Yeah, and I got my first bite as soon as you called, dude.
Dude!
So good luck. Well, I need to talk to you all day.
Let me ask you this. Does that go against FLW? Can we talk during the tournament? Like, you just get a little earpiece in, and I can just say, hey, just keep it going. Keep it going, bud.
Just a little pep talk.
Yeah,
Coach
just
Duncan.
Just every now and then. Did you catch it on a flat nose worm, or the flat?
Actually, no, the flatworm.
Flatworm.
There's
Yeah.
a flat nose minnow.
Flat nose minnow. Yeah.
There's a flatworm. I caught this one on a wacky rig, 4-inch max set general.
Okay,
So,
dude, that little
there's
thing.
no doubt if I'm smallmouth fishing, dude, I'm gonna be throwing max set.
Well, dude, I can say this. So, John Cox, I've had John on several times, and like I know, you see me post about stuff, and you're like, yeah, sure, that's good. You're sponsored by that company, and you see other guys. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a skeptic of other fishermen. I know I am, and a lot of people are, because you get paid by sponsors to say stuff. But I can tell you, I have picked John Cox's brain about this max scent general, because he does throw it. He loves it. And I've started throwing it some, and dude, it gets you bit. And I throw in a wide variety of Cincos, and 6 Cents has a clout worm I'm throwing now some, but that thing is, dude, it's cool. It's cool.
You know what I noticed about it the first time I started using it was how often I had to get the pliers to get the hook out, because that's how good they eat it.
Yes.
So
I would agree.
We don't need to sit here and pump it up all day.
No. Yeah.
It is the real deal for people that are wondering. I mean, there's a reason they're sold out everywhere. It's not just because, some guys caught them in a tournament on it. It's because it really does work.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And I will say that about Berkeley. The amount of plastics they have now is just absurd.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, man. So you are on Lake Erie right now, practicing for the MLFLW, and I was talking about this right before you came on. I was kind of pumping this tournament, because this tournament to me is very interesting for a lot of reasons, and I think you'll agree with this. You have this overwhelming, and I'm hearing this from some guys, and we saw it at the Toyota Series. Sandusky's big water, crazy big water, and I think it sounds like it's windy there today. Sounds like you've got some wind. It's always blowing. But do you think you could see this tournament get one off of St. Clair? I mean, I hear that rumor.
Man, I know that the bite's good over there because I saw the BFL weights. But when I Google Earth the mileage the other day, just to get to the mouth of St. Clair, right, where the Detroit River dumps or comes in, or St. Clair goes into the Detroit River, if you want to be accurate, it's like 75, 76 miles. So I just kind of wrote that off, man. I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to go across the ocean, basically.
In a bass boat.
In a bass boat. I got another one on, too. It's actually a better fish. I'm not, dude, I've caught 2 fish now with you on.
Dude,
these are my
low
first 2
budget
bites
luck.
of the day.
Low budget luck.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but this is a nice one. This is like a 3.5 pounder. And I'm actually inside Sandusky Bay. I'm looking at these roller coasters right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, man, it might be a 4 pounder. That's a good fish.
Is it a largemouth?
It is a smallmouth.
Smallmouth. Okay. Okay. I know inside the bay you hear largemouth, you know, stories sometimes. So it's a smallmouth.
Yeah, I'm trying to fish like the water's pretty dirty, so I'm trying to fish like 8 to 12 feet on some rock piles that could have both species on it.
I gotcha.
So, because here's the thing, I don't really want to fish in here, but if they, if I make top 50 or top 10 on the final day, they can restrict you to here if it blows. So I just want to have something to fish. You know what I'm saying? I might only spend a half a day in here, but just in case, I don't want to come in here just totally blind.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because at the Toyota Series, they did restrict those guys to the bay. So they have communicated that to you guys for this one, that's potential.
Yeah, they won't do it for the whole field. They'll just, you know, like cancel that day or whatever
gotcha.
And move it to another day. But they will on the top 50 or final day if they need to.
Okay.
Which is the right thing, dude. It can get so bad out there.
Dude.
You know,
Sandusky is notorious. And I mean, Erie in general is just a monster. And all those great lakes, Lake Ontario. I mean, we saw that in the Bassmaster the other day. Sturgeon Bay, where you guys were, was a pain cave, you know, at times. I was talking to Atkins after that one. He was like, dude, I beat myself up so bad. Up there on the last on the third day, I believe. But all those things are bad. So I mean, you got to make it's. I've always said bass boats, even though like you're running a Phoenix, great boat. I run a Ranger, great boats, and they handle rough water well. Dude, that's a different kind of rough water. It's like you said, that's like going out in the ocean. I mean,
dude, you're not going to do it on a normal day unless you know the wind is right. You're not.
That's right.
You know, in the tournament, it doesn't make sense to be like, oh, hey, it's real nasty out there today. Good luck, guys. You know, I'm good with the restrictions, and heck, I don't want to say like I'm a little wuss or anything, but like I'm good with lightning. I'm good with lightning delays too, dude. Like I'm not trying to get killed by a lightning bolt. So.
No, and for years we're the only.
My feeling on it.
Well, and for years we're the only sport that really doesn't have a weather delay at all. And now with BPT, you guys actually have weather delays, and I know it's met with. I've heard through the grapevine, it's met with like mixed emotions. You know, some guys are like, "Let us fish," and you're always going to have those guys. But I think for the overall safety, that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, man, I've seen some guys fish through like the craziest stuff. You know, where I pull them under a dock. You've seen it too.
Oh,
and I'm just like,
why
do I need to be as risky as this guy
with
my life to try and do well in this tournament? So I like that. I like, you know, being able to launch our boats. Like if it's real rough, you know, like at Sturgeon Bay, we were able to launch wherever we wanted as long as it was a public boat ramp. And dude, I burned like 6 gallons of gas the whole time because I didn't have to run anywhere. I just launched right where I wanted to fish.
That is something that I really love too, and I've talked about that on here. I like the fact that I think that's genius because there's so many days you take Okeechobee and it's blowing out of the south and you're going out of the north end in a regular FLW or Bassmaster event, and they either have to cancel or everybody's going to get the hell beat out of them. And so instead you could go, hey guys, go put in at Clewiston. I mean, I know there's some logistical nightmares to that, but that's not a bad thing. So you could run down there, salvage the day, come back for weigh-in. I think that's pretty cool.
The most is the service guys, dude.
I bet.
They told me, they're like, man, this is the greatest thing ever because we work our butts off trying to fix everything you guys break when you got to, run back to weigh in and you got to do all that.
You're pushing it.
The limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Polinick texted me yesterday. He broke something on his boat that TH Marine makes, trying to get back at Champlain. And he's like, hey, man, I was kind of pushing it coming back. I was like, you won that, right? Why were you pushing it? But anyways, he broke something. I know that Fighter broke his I mean, these kind of things happen. And
that's crazy.
It's crazy. But okay, so I want to talk about this super tournament, and I want to get your mentality on something with this because I talked to a couple buddies of mine that were driving up there, and with the St. Clair thing and the rough water thing, it's kind of a perfect segue. So they pay 100 places in these things, 10 grand, which is a good check. And is it worth it to you? I mean, because you're like a go for the throat kind of dude. I feel like you're one of those guys that, like, if it's not a win, you're not happy. I do. I feel like you're that way. I mean, obviously you're consistent. Yeah, you're super competitive. Yeah, and so, but my thing is this where they're paying so deep in the field with this big of a field? Is that one of those where you go, hey man, I'm going to practice close the entire week because if I can catch X amount and win me 10 grand and go home, because you don't have, like you guys in particular, the BPT guys that are in these tournaments now, like you're not fishing for points in this. You're just trying to supplement, the season, make some money. So does that seep into your brain at all when you're looking at a weather forecast, or do you go, hell, I'm just going to try to shoot for 70th? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is that something that ever goes through your head?
Dude, I'm going to fish this one just like I would if there was points on the line or anything else.
I got you.
I think running to St. Clair is so risky that I think you could lose one day totally out of the 4 days, and really be screwed. And, I don't know much about this place. The last time I fished here was 7 years ago when I qualified for the elites, and we could go to Pelee Island. So that's pretty much where everybody was at. I think Ike won it out off the South Islands or something like that. But, I think there's enough fish around here. I could be wrong. But that Toyota Series a month ago, those fish just weren't deep and grouped up yet. I feel like there's enough fish around here that if you could catch 19 or 20 a day, you're probably going to have a really good chance to win. And those weights are so good in the BFL at St. Clair, but they get all day to fish.
That's right. A lot of variables.
It's just like, man, I don't know. So like any other tournament, I want to come have a good tournament. I always look at it like, this is going to be my game plan, and you kind of pick your game plan before the practice even starts.
Absolutely.
Like what you're wanting to make happen, and you're either picking a game plan that might give you a chance to win, or you're not. But you really don't know until you get going in the tournament and kind of see what you found is putting you in the standings. That's when you start getting hungry or not. It's
that's
like,
right. That's right.
Okay, I might be able to win this tournament. Or you're like, I picked the wrong deal. Now I'm fighting for a check. That's
a great point.
That's just kind of how it goes. And a lake this big, you just don't know, man. Like so many variables.
Oh, so many. And I like what you said there. I've heard other guys say that over time, and I've said that you've got to decide, late in your practice, whether you're on fish to win, or you're on fish to get a check, or you're on fish to survive. and then after the first day of competition, you have to kind of reevaluate again, but that's what I think that's what separates the great anglers from the good anglers, are the guys that can make those decisions pretty dang fast, and decide, hey, this is the week we're going to have, like you said, and then you get hungry. You have that first day and you're like, whoa, I'm on them a little better than I thought I was. And then you can kind of go for the jugular. But so talk about, and we talked about this a little the other day, but talk about your format struggles when you made the switch. So you come off, you win AOI with bass, And I got to see your acceptance speech at the Classic. I was there that night. It was emotional. It was very cool to hear. I knew a lot about your story, but you talking about your granddad and everything was, and seeing you get emotional was awesome. And everybody knows what those AOI trophies mean, regardless of the organization. It's a big deal to be the most consistent. So that night was very cool, and it was probably emotional for everybody because it was kind of the last Classic most of you guys were going to be at for a while, you know. So it was a weird deal. But that your speech was great, but that was, you win that, you leave, you go. We have this change in the industry. You guys go to BPT, and you. I think you said the other day you finished 45th in the points that first year, which is not terrible. It's not terrible. It's half the field when you're fishing against 80, basically. But mediocre, which you're not all about, coming off your best season ever. But that's not in your vocabulary most of the time. I feel like I can say that. But talk about, it seemed like you struggled within that format that first year. And then talk about going from that to breaking all the records in the format. Because I think that's amazing.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, in 2018, I got on a roll that, I was really confident. I was really catching them good. And then we have the break in the fall. And I always at the beginning of every year, I'm like, man, well, how's this year going to start? Because I'm a big time momentum guy, dude. I'll miss 2 or 3 checks in a row. Like this year, I missed 3 in a row, and now I've got 4 in a row. And last year I missed 4 in a row and then got 4 in a row. So, I started to get a little bit of a feel for the format towards the end of last year. But certainly, dude, I'm the first one to admit, I am not afraid to say it. Like that format, and I didn't understand it. I was getting my freaking butt kicked, dude. And, I'm the type of guy that I'm getting my butt kicked. I want to know why, and I'm going to fix it, and I want to get better at it. And, that is certainly it's not a jab at Gerald or Brandon, because Brandon had a really good year on the Bass Pro Tour. And, I know Gerald he didn't really enjoy it as much as he did the 5-fish limit.
Not at all. Not at all, for sure.
I'm just like, I want to catch him in this thing. Like, I signed up for it. I committed to 3 years. Like, I want to figure out how to catch him. I don't like getting beat, and no matter what it is. And, it took a while. But, dude, once I settled down, I kind of figured out how to practice a little bit better. And Eufaula this year was good. I missed a check just barely. I lost a couple of fish that would have got it for me, but I learned a lot. And then I had 2 bad ones. And then coming off the coronavirus break, I finished 4th, and that was my best finish. And it gave me a lot of confidence. And I knew going up to Sturgeon Bay, I love going up to a place like that where we haven't been that time of year. We'd only been there one time. I just feel like it's just free game, like no one knows enough to just go start hitting spots and everything. And that's what I love. That's why I love Florida too, because we have always been there in January, February, and March, and never been there in May. And it was like, all right, I feel like I'm fishing a new body of water.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel right now here. I'm just like, I just love fishing a new body of water where I told you the other day I was managing my waypoints for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever
which was funny to me.
Yeah, I've never reloaded old waypoints into my graph that I can remember. If I did, they didn't mean nothing. But it's just, I just love fishing new water. I love figuring out the puzzle on new places. And, some of these places we've gone to in the Bass Pro Tour, it's, Florida in January. And that's just, I've never done great there then. And, Lake Fork pre-spawn and just turning into spawn. And I get my butt kicked in dirty water pre-spawn. I'm going to figure it out one day. But until then, I know I just got to survive during those early months, and then I'll get, hopefully get some licks in come spawn and post spawn and summertime. But I don't know, man, I've really enjoyed it. It was that Sturgeon Bay deal. And even I got the feeling I could win the last day in Florida, but they started running water where I was fishing and completely shut down the bite. and Jordan was just on some unbelievable size fish down there. But I got hungry. I was like, dude, that's what it feels like. I haven't had this feeling in a while to win a tournament. And I went up to Sturgeon Bay very confident that, you know, if I put my time in and did it the right way and made a good game plan, like we talked about, I might be able to put myself in contention to win that tournament. And so everything just fell into place. It was like the first time I ever told my wife after a practice, I could possibly win this tournament. First time, and I've been doing this 10 years, dude. So, you know, that tells you how often that comes around. Not very often.
Oh, not at all. And I guess for me in that format, that's got to be a weird feeling, because in a 5-fish deal, it's like, you know, you're around, maybe you know you're around big ones or whatever, and you knew you were around big ones there. But I mean,
yeah, I got my personal best.
Yeah, I saw it's crazy. It's just crazy to me how many fish you caught up there, and how many big ones. But do you think? So for all the 5-fishers out there that love 5-fish, you know, we talked about this the other day. The format is not something I've ever been critical of, just because you guys are going to smash them regardless. If you could make it a 100-fish limit or a 3-fish limit, and the cream's going to rise always. I don't care. So I'll argue that all day long. But do you think, had this been a 5-fish event, that you would have caught as many because you would have been conserving some? Would you have known how great these areas were? Is it because you were seeing them on electronics? Is it because, I mean, did you know just how many were there?
I knew there was a lot where I was fishing, and I probably had, you know, I've thought about it, like 5 fish, I probably had 19 to 21 a day, somewhere right there.
Right.
Because like 4.8 was my big one, I think. And I just caught a lot of heavy 3s and right at 4-pound fish. But,
which is
tons of 3-pound, you know, 3 1/4s, 2.15s, all of that. So I don't know if I would have won if it was a 5-fish limit or not. But I probably would have changed up and done stuff, you know, a little bit different, taking a little more risk and everything. And, you know, I got to say this, dude, like after fishing Chick and Mississippi River and now coming up here and fishing this tournament at Sandusky, like I still love fishing a 5-fish limit. I'm not like anti-5-fish limit. You know what I mean? What I really love is being able to do both of them, you know, because I feel like the Bass Pro Tour with the 2-pound minimum is very challenging, trying to catch that many fish and trying to keep up with these guys. You know, when Wheeler or Jordan get out ahead of everybody, or Edwin, and you're trying to catch up, it's like, dang, dude, I got a hill to climb. And, you know, but the strategy is different. The 5-fish limit strategy is different. And I enjoy both. I really do.
Talk about,
I'm not,
sorry, not to cut you off. No, talk about, you mentioned practice. You learned how to practice. Can you give people an insight into what you mean by that? What did you change about how you practice for trying to catch as many as you can? Are you looking for spots in that situation? Like, you know, graphing a lot more, looking for big, huge wads of fish. I mean, talk about that just for a second. I find that fascinating, that you're like, I had to learn how to practice, because you probably haven't changed your practice techniques too much in the last 10 years because you've been successful and you've, you know, done what you've done. So talk about that.
Yeah, I would say before, or in a 5-fish limit, like right now, I'm willing to, you know, drop everything and run 15 miles to hit one spot if I need to, and to catch 2 or 3 fish, you know, or whatever you would expect to catch off of it. You're not expecting to go catch 20 if you run that far in a 5-fish limit. But, you know, and so in a Bass Pro Tour event, I've had to learn how to practice and pick an area, really try and find every little nook and cranny in the area, and, you know, different ways to catch them in the area too. I think down in Florida, I caught fish on like 8 or 9 different baits in the tournament, and all kinds of different ways, from spinning rod to Carolina rig to top water. And, you know, I just had a couple small areas there, but I was able to maximize them where, you know, if I'm in a 5-fish limit, I can say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to get 6-7 bites today, and I'm willing to run 15 miles for 2 bites if I need to do it, you know. And I feel like you can put just a couple rods on the deck and do what you want to do. And I think that's why Jacob Wheeler and Jordan are so good and Edwin at this format, is because they can have multiple rods on the deck and they know how to catch fish. They're so versatile. They know how to catch fish on every one of those rods, you know, and they know when to pick them up too. And, you know, that's why they've been able to dominate, honestly. So it's taken me a little while to get. I like putting 3 or 4 rods on the deck or 7 drop shots at Sturgeon Bay. But
I'm a spinning rod nut.
I just like, you know, kind of sticking with the things I know work. Like if I know a chatterbait's going to work, I'll go throw it, you know, almost all day and flip a little power hog in between or something. But, you know, this deal, the Bass Pro Tour deal, you got to have more rods than just 1 or 2, unless it's a drop shot tournament. And you got to be able to know how to confidently catch them on all those rods as well.
I'm fascinated by that a little bit just because I remember at Table Rock when you guys were there and it was like Wheeler's catching 100 and it was just insane. And I think it was Fred Rimbanis that said this on camera. He's like, dude, I got a spot I want to run to about 15 miles up the river, but this stupid score tracker is going to be going off the entire time I'm running. And I was like, that's kind of interesting to me. Like that's part of the strategy. Like you can make that run, but you're going to be 30 pounds behind by the time you get there.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
You got to know. Yeah, you got to know it's worth it if you're going to do it.
No doubt about it. Well, dude, switching gears, and I'm not going to keep you a lot longer because I know I want you to win this tournament. But and I don't want to be the reason. I've helped your practice, I feel like. I mean, I think we all listening here can admit that I've helped you today. Yeah. But so talk about, I mean, we've got a lot of changes, and you and I talked about this a little bit, but, you know, Bass Pro Tour comes on strong. We have this big shift in the industry. Now we've seen a couple guys go back with BP and Gerald that just they couldn't get comfortable in the format. They didn't enjoy it as much, and now they're back and they're happy. We saw BP win.
And I think Brandon was comfortable because he was doing good. He just loves, you know, he loves Bassmaster and loves the 5-fish limit, and he's a good friend, and I'll never knock him for it.
Of course.
You know, he's doing what he wants to do, and I was happy as anybody to see him win last week at Champlain.
And I don't think there's anybody that could say he didn't make the right decision, right? Going back, having that win. I mean, like, he lives for those moments. That's his awesome deal, and it was awesome. Yeah. But my point is, you know, we're seeing these shifts. I think we'll probably see some more guys leave this year. Just that's the rumblings out there we're all hearing. But now you guys are going to pay some entry fees next year, and now we have this – you're going to be allowed to fish FLW. My first question is this: are you going to do the super tournaments again next year? Will you compete in those a second year, or was that kind of something that you did this year, you know, just because you guys got cut a couple tournaments short? Do you think a lot of BPT guys will fish FLW again next year if given that opportunity?
You know, I would like to, for the simple fact that I've always felt, you know, my brother's a big golfer, and he's on the Corn Ferry Tour, which is just below the PGA Tour.
Right.
And the PGA Tour has like 35 events a year, and so does the Corn Ferry Tour. They have like 29 or something. So I've always been a critic, no matter where I've been, FLW, Bass, wherever. I've always felt like we should have more professional tournaments than just 8, 9, 10 events a year, you know. And I've always felt like guys shouldn't go and fish Bass Opens, even though I did, because there's nothing else to fish, or Toyotas, or, you know, whatever at that level. But you know, it's interesting you ask that, because I still look at, and so do my friends, because I've asked them this year, I still look at the FLW Tour, even though, you know, it's Bass Pro Tour and Elites, you know, on top, and the FLW Tour below. I still look at it as a professional tournament. When John Cox won at Sam Rayburn, I'm like, how's he catching them? I want to know. And he won $100,000, you know? And so I'm like, I've always felt we should have 14, 15, 16 professional tournaments in a year. And, you know, I still think we're probably a ways from getting that. And in the glory days of Bassmaster in the, you know, 2007 and 8, they had like, I think 13 with those majors.
A lot.
And everything.
Yeah, a lot of events.
But we have 52 weeks in a year, you know, and I don't hunt. And I would love to fish, you know, 14, 15 tournaments over a 9 or 10 month period. I think that's awesome. It's what I do. You know, I fish tournaments for a living. I don't want to just fish, 8, 9, 10 a year. That's just, to me, it's not enough to get me all fired up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would like to see more fall tournaments too. And I think like
me too.
bass
Me too.
rescheduling into the fall is an amazing thing. Like I can't wait to see those tournaments because we don't get those anymore. We don't get to see what the guys have and their little tricks in the fall when it gets tough. Like I love the old school Bassmasters back in the day. I've talked about this a million times, but the season actually started in like August or September and ran into the next year. And the Angler of the Year, he was the freaking Angler of the Year, man. he had to put up with some stuff, you know. But so you'll definitely be all in for FLW.
If I can, depending how many tournaments we get, you know, at the Bass Pro Tour, I qualified for heavy hitters and Red Crest, so I'm going to have a nice schedule. But, you know, I don't know. I just need to look at the schedules and go from there. I've talked to the FLW guys, too. I know you got a lot of buddies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's some mixed emotions about it. But,
For sure.
You know, I'm just thankful to have a place to fish. You know, that's the thing. COVID it screwed a lot of stuff up, and not just for Major League Fishing, but for everyone. And it'll be interesting just to see where everybody's at the end of this year, going into next year, because of this. You know, it's a bad deal.
I think that, you know, the overall, you know, what I get from FLW guys that I'm close with, haven't been over there and all that for a while, just like you were over there for a long time. My buddies and not even just my buddies, just I think the overall opinions, it's split down the middle. Some people are like, bring those dudes on. I want to see where I stack up against them if I'm going to have to fish against them down the road. And then some guys are like, this is stupid with 200 boats and I don't want to compete against these guys.
I don't think it'll be close to 200 if they, you know.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to fish them or whatever, I think they'll really try and keep it around that 150 mark, which is a better place to be.
Yeah, that's what I figured. There'll be some chopping that goes on. But so as you've been really confident though, and pro BPT. For sure in your travels. And like you said, you invested in it, you're going to stick it out. You wanted to get better at the format. Is your confidence with what's going on? Are you still confident that this is, going to carry on? I know they're having fewer events next year. We're going back to entry fees. Where are you with that right now as an angler? I know you just want to fish tournaments and this is where you're at, but is there anything in your mind where you're like, dang, that I don't like that we're going from no entry fees back to entry fees? Or do you think that's temporary and hopefully that's temporary for you guys? What are your thoughts on that, like confidence wise?
Yeah, I really do. I believe it's temporary. That's the thing that it's gotten lost, but I never had, some of these guys had, strong opinions against bass. I didn't. I love bass. I was thankful for everything that I had at bass, but I didn't like paying $48,000 a year to play. And so 2 years ago, no one knew COVID was going to happen. No one knew that all this was going to go on. So you tell me I can, go to this other deal and I get a $48,000 a year raise basically. And I had as a business, that's pretty smart to go ahead and take that. And, the intentions behind no entries were really good. But, the industry's small. When things start getting taken away, I think our entry fees will be very minimal. Right. They probably will be there. And I'm not, it's not like I'm totally against it. I've always paid. I loved having no entry fees, but I'm going to leave. If I left, I would go back and pay entry fees.
That's a fact. There's not any greener grass entry fee wise.
Yeah, so I still feel, and that's what I like about you and I being able to have this conversation. We talked about the other days. We can disagree on stuff. We don't agree on everything. Doesn't mean I dislike Luke Duncan or anything like that. People have their own opinions, and I think it's important that people do have their own opinions. But I know I've been in a lot of meetings with both organizations, and I know how passionate they are over here. They're Boyd being a fisherman, and I'm like, how does this guy still come out here and fish in these tournaments with everything that's on his plate? But he just loves fishing that much, so I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick it out. And I'm not saying, if Major League Fishing went away, of course, I'd go try and re-qualify for the elites if Major League Fishing was gone. But I feel like, the intentions are definitely good. and they've done some things. I'm not going to lie to make some people mad or whatever, ruffle some feathers, but it's also still it's a new business and a new venture. And I think we came a long ways from the first season, with that 1 pound deal and all of that. I think our 2 pound minimum in the coverage this year has been tremendously better. And at the end of the day, I know Berkeley has sold a ton of flatworms because of the Bass Pro Tour at Sturgeon Bay. And so that tells me that, people are watching and they're paying attention, because just like I do, when I get cut, I'm going to watch whatever live is on. It doesn't matter if it's FLW bass or whatever. I'm going to watch it because I want to know how top dudes are catching their fish and what they're catching them on.
No doubt. Well, dude,
if they're good fish, if they're little fish, I'm not that interested, but I am interested in the good ones.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this, but the minimum helped for sure. And I think, you follow was like just a normal Bubba bass tournament to me, right? And I say that that's not being insulting. It was like flipping, spinner baiting, chatter baiting until Wheeler beat everybody's brakes off offshore in muddy water, which was weird. But
that was crazy.
It was. I watched that last hour and I'm like, "Is this real life? What's going on right now?" It was just stupid. But it was a great event. Sturgeon.
Dude, here's something I'll tell you that's crazy, and I'm not meaning to interrupt you.
No, you're fine, man.
I didn't catch a 5-fish limit until the knockout round in Florida this year. So that was our 4th event, and I didn't catch a limit until the 3rd round of that year, dude. So yeah, so it is tough to catch 2 pound minimum. It's not. That's bigger not easy when you're letting.
That's bigger than most keepers. Yeah, that's bigger than most keepers on most lakes you go to. Even 15 inchers. I mean, you can weigh a lot of 15 inchers in that aren't 2 pounders. I mean, that's when you've stretched them across a measuring board as much as we have, and Lord knows I've had plenty of them that have been short, because I'm really good at those little fish, Justin. I know you don't like them. I'm really good at those. Well, dude, I really appreciate you being on, and you and I've talked about you on here. You're one of those guys that even if I'm on here ranting and raving about the organization you're a part of, you'll text me and go, "Hey, man, thanks for clarifying that," or "Thanks for the shout out," or "Keep doing you." Or you've always been kind, and I've always considered you a friend, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your work ethic, and everything you're doing out there, man. But go do it this week. Go catch them up.
I need to pull Brandon Polinick on these smallmouths and just bust them hard.
Yeah, dude, that'll be fun to watch. Dude, I appreciate it. Make sure, I know all of you are following Justin Lucas. If you're not, you're lying probably if you say you're not. But Justin's got a huge social media following. Great YouTube channel. One thing really quick. Will you give me the secret creek that you kayak fish in a text message and go? Go ahead and send those coordinates, buddy.
Absolutely. I'll take you there.
I want to go there with you because that blows my mind when I watch those videos. That is so much fun.
Yeah, man. Let's do that.
Let's do that. All right.
I love kayak fishing when we don't have tournaments.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Let's do it.
You guys all heard it here, so I need all of you to DM Lucas and tell him he's got to take me to the goods, and we won't say where we're at.
Crap.
Yeah, fill his inbox right now. Fill his inbox. All right, Justin Lucas, man, good luck. Thank you so much, dude. Catch 4 million pounds of smallmouth again this week, and I think you'll win.
Yes, sir. You got it, man.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
See you, Justin. All right. It was fun. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I've known Justin for a while now, and he's a good dude. He is even though he's an Alabama boy now, technically he is still that California chill, yeah, man, vibe all the time. I love talking to Justin. Wish him the best of luck, and nobody can deny whether you're pro BPT, anti BPT, only bass, whatever. That Sturgeon Bay tournament was just silly, dude. He smashed them. I had more people that don't watch BPT texting me about that event, like, holy crap, what's going on with this? He smashed them. So some interesting stuff there from him. Really enjoyed that. Been wanting to have him on. We've been texting back and forth trying to make it happen. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much for listening this week and every week. I really appreciate it. One thing I wanted to talk about real fast, my buddy Dave Mercer, make sure you're following Facts of Fishing on YouTube. He's doing these Facts of Fishing videos weekly that are hilarious. They're creative. They're goofy. They're funny. Make sure that you're checking those out because Dave's working hard on those, and they're really freaking good. They're just kind of pushing the envelope of comedy and creativity. They're very cool. So go check those out. Make sure you hug your dang mama. As always, I'm going to take you out with a little bit of Biloxi Blues right now from the Luke Duncan Highway 64 album from 2013, which is old as dirt. We're going to record some new music soon. I promise you. Biloxi Blues. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good week.
Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.